All right, we will be getting started very shortly. Okay, we have more people joining and joining. Everybody's slowly but surely joining.
Sorry. Oh, I hope I've not started. Is this the app? The one that has a green leaf?
I can't see your phone.
Oh,
But because you have the background, you have that background thing. So I
let me
can't see
try.
anything that you
Let
have.
me try and see if I can take that off. Oh my God. We can use. Okay, is this better? You still can see.
Yes, you can see.
Which other background do I have that's much better? Oh, I still have a green top. Still can't see.
Don't worry, I'll show you mine now, then you can see.
Okay, please, please do. Thanks.
I'm gonna just place in there.
Because there's so many Robin Hood here.
Oh, there is. Oh, there are rather. Yeah, the one with the leaf.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I think we will get started. We're 1 minute past the hour. I still see folks still coming in, but we will get started. I see Daya's here as well. That's awesome. All right, Daya, if you're ready, let me see. Let me hear your voice if you're ready to get started.
I am ready. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to connect so I can present on
Okay.
my other device. So just give me 1 quick second. I'll be on. All right. All right.
Mute myself. All right, so welcome everybody. Thank you guys for taking the time to join us on Seun on Demand Presents, the Money Series. This is Volume 2. Today's discussion in class, rather, is about managing your money. And we're going to be touching on different areas, and then we're going to do a live demonstration of, how to do a live investment, buying of stocks. So, and I'm so glad you guys are taking the time to join us because we're all immigrants, I'm hoping majority of us here are immigrants and, people of color. And I'm all about not ensuring, but just sharing all that I know so that we can all, be successful, get those points, and then our 9 to 5ers would reduce. One other thing that I wanted to mention, I see everybody's camera is off. This is supposed to be a class. So I would please implore that you all turn your cameras on, please, so that we can see each other. I don't want to be talking at you. I want to thank you very much. Hello, Sister Lovette. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Sister Ola. Thank you for joining us. Everyone, please, 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 let's have your cameras on. Let's see your beautiful faces. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Let's see who we have in here. So imagine this is a class, that you're taking this class in a university or college or something. You would have to show your professor your face. So please, exactly. And this is the new normal, right? When you're taking classes online now, you cannot have your faces on mute. You have to have some visibility. So please show us your faces by turning your cameras on. All right, so a few rules. We're going to have the class muted the entire time so that we can flow right through all of our discussion points. And joining me, of course, today is my very dear friend, Dayo Ojo, who is the host of Next Level Mentality. He's a management coach. He's very professional at this. He hosted our last class as well, taught us. If you were here the last class, you know very well that you're about to have an amazing time. He drops the knowledge, like, nuggets of gold. I still have my notes from the previous lesson still here. And, we've had testimonials from the previous class, people telling us that they actually have implemented some of the tips that, Dayo gave during the class. So I want to assure you that whatever it is that we're teaching today are things that are practical. This, the Show on Demand does not show you or share with you things that are not doable, things that are outside of your reach. If we're showing you this today, believe me, it's been tested, it's been tried, and it's trusted. It's because we know that it absolutely works. So I am going to pass the baton on to Dayo to start the class. And if you have friends or family members that you guys know would benefit from this, you can tell them to join our YouTube session. We have this broadcasting live on YouTube as well, but we are focusing on you guys. So after we're done with our class, then we'll start taking questions. But I think when we get to the interactive part, which is the live demo, we'll probably be able to allow you guys to ask questions, because I'm sure some of you might be asking questions as we move through. So, and we might actually even stop intermittently to take any questions from you guys. And also, if you have like a question, you have that question and you're going to forget in 2 seconds, type it into the chat session. Don't send it to me, send it and leave it in the general chat box. Put it in there. We'll be going in there occasionally and pick questions and address them as they come. So once again, thank you guys for joining. I hope you're ready, have your notes, your pens, your paper, because we're not sharing this material with anybody. So this is it. When you see this here, this is it, because he is taking this is his intellectual property. It took a while for him to put this together, and this is what he does. So all right, Dayo, over to you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity again. So thank you to Share on Demand. And I want to say thank you to everyone who has taken time to join today. The greatest investment you can make is an investment in yourself. And you start to do that by investing in knowledge. So the time that you've taken out today to learn, I believe it's a great investment. I want to assure you that you wouldn't regret taking out this time. Now, this is a great conversation that we're about to have, especially because, as O said earlier, we're all immigrants. And one of the things that I've seen a lot of immigrants struggled with is money, right? This is not because a lot of people don't have good jobs or they don't have the means to make money, but as you know, wealth needs to be built. But a lot of people don't know exactly how to build wealth, right? Wealth generation is very different from income generation, right? You can make, income from 3, 4, 5, 7 different streams and still be struggling to build wealth. And so that's really the reason for this conversation today. Now I know that a number of you might have joined because, you want to learn how to trade stocks, or you want to learn how to start to invest. While that's great, and we're going to get into that, what I think could be very useful is I wanted to share some thoughts with you. Right, I've talked to many people about this in different groups, to some organizations, but what I'm about to share with you before we get into actually investing in the stock market are thoughts that I think are very fundamental to building wealth, right? Because like I said earlier, you've heard a lot of stories about people who made a lot of money, maybe through a lottery, maybe they're sports, professionals or celebrities, whatever, and they lost all the money, right? The reason for that really is that there isn't any solid foundation wealth generation, of financial management, right? So I have a course that I've taught multiple times. I call it F5. It's possible that maybe some people on this call might have heard it before, but I wanted to start from there because I think that's really just the foundation, and then we can pivot from that into going into how to invest into the stock market. Does that make sense? Right. If you agree with that, I'd like for you to tell me a yes. Tell me a yes. Tell me a yes. Awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome.
You can type your yeses on the chat session too, guys.
Awesome. Nice. All right. So I've tagged this course Financial Fitness for Financial Freedom. It's what I've called F5. And I think that this is going to really help you. It's going to really open your mind as we start to talk about investment, because again, just trying to invest in stock and not really understanding what the financial market is like, or understanding what financial management is like, is really like a waste of time, right? I liken it to trying to travel to China and all you do is buy a ticket, right? You're not thinking about all the airport protocols. You're not thinking about if you needed a visa. You're not thinking about where you're going to leave. You just bought a ticket. I'm like, boom, I'm going to China, right? And so this gives you the whole picture before we get into stock investment. Right. So what is financial fitness? What is financial fitness? Someone might be asking, right? So these are very quick definitions that I found online. It's living in a way that does not exceed your income earned. All right. This is a big problem for a lot of immigrants. Your projections are far more than, or your expense projections are far more than your income. Right. And I know you have to do a lot of things. Some of us have to take care of people back home. And some of us have children who are, who we need to take care of, family members, and then we have our own personal expenses. But financial fitness really is the idea of living within your means. It's like physical fitness. It's not feeding your body more than it needs, right? It's really living and being disciplined with how you manage your money, just like how you manage your body. And then financial freedom, of course, that it goes with being financially fit, is having the means or having enough savings, financial investments, money, whatever, to afford the kind of life that you want to live. Now, this doesn't really mean that you're a millionaire. It just means that based on the kind of lifestyle that you define for yourself, you're not financially stranded, right? You can do whatever it is that you want to do at any time. Now, whatever it is you want to do doesn't mean you have to go buy a private jet, right? You're not financially free because you can buy a private jet, right? You're financially free because you're not under financial strain when emergencies come, right? And so that's what financial freedom is. So that's how I want you to start thinking about your finances, right? As you start thinking through, okay, I want to invest in stocks, you might have several reasons why you want to do that, but I think these things will help shape your mindset. All right, so the first thing I want to go through is financial literacy. That's the first F. What's financial literacy? I think I talked a little bit about it, but it's important. The Bible says that my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge, right? Trying to invest in stocks, buy mutual funds, all these type of things without really understanding how the financial market works will just lead you down the drain, right? Because you don't really have the understanding. So financial literacy talks about your ability to understand how money works, right? There are many ways to invest. Stock investment or investing in the financial markets is really just one of them. It's an important part of it, but it's just one of the many ways that you can invest. So really understanding financial investment, understanding income, right? How do you really understand the money that you're making? A lot of people know that they're making, $30, $40, $50 an hour. They know that they're making $120,000 a year. They have those metrics, but they don't really understand what makes that up, right? They don't understand taxes. They don't understand benefits. They don't understand, things like debt, right? They don't understand net worth, for instance. I was speaking in the other session. I talked about net worth, and I had someone reach out to me and said, this is the first time I'm hearing about the concept of net worth. Because a lot of people know, well, I have $5,000 saved in the bank. and out of the 5,000, I can invest $2,000. But do you know your overall net worth, right? So those are just type of things that you need to start to learn, all right? And so what I want to challenge you today is a financial literacy challenge. A lot of people have taken this challenge. They found it very useful. Some people have testified that it has transformed the way that they, view money or manage money. So I'd like to give you the same challenge now, right? Maybe you're on YouTube or you're on Zoom, right? So the first thing I want to do today is, evaluate your financial situation, right? Sit down and detail out your net worth, right? Your net worth is a combination or a summation of your assets minus your liabilities, right? What does that mean, right? All your savings, all investments, maybe retirement account that you have, and then subtract your loans, your debt, right? Your liabilities, subtract that from that. So let's say you have $5,000 saved up, but then you owe $3,000. Easy numbers, right? And so it means that your net worth is $2,000. So sit down and really think about that. Don't just go through life and make money and save money and then buy this and pay for that and then buy this land in Nigeria. Like, think about your financial situation. Think about what your net worth is, all right? Now, the second thing I want to challenge you is follow a financial blog. Right, this investment that you've made to join this session is a good one, but it has to be a continuous thing. It's not just a one-time thing. It has to be a continuous thing. So find a financial blog that you follow. I personally follow Millennium Money, and I also follow Penny Orders. They send you if you subscribe for like push notifications, they send you stuff when they have like new content. You can go there and read up on old content, watch videos, ask questions, interact with them. It's really a good way to start to really build yourself up mentally. It's the same way we pick up our Bibles every day. We go to self-fellowship, we do all these things if you're a member of a church. But it's the same way you do this. So even in when you were in school, right, you had a community of people that you studied together, you go to class and all this type of stuff. So this is the same thing with your finances. It shouldn't be any different. So sign up for a financial blog where you learn, all right? And read a lot of books. I saw a comment, sorry, I missed it. There was a comment about any other, sorry, I missed that. I'll go back to it. But read books. Read a book about money. I'm recommending The Millionaire Next Door. The reason why I recommend this book is for those of you who don't like to maybe buy hardcover books and read it back to back, which I'm one of those people. Online on YouTube, there's several YouTube videos that have compressed this book to call out the main facts or the main points. I think you should go ahead and read it. It's going to change your life, right?
So, real quick before you go on, so like the financial blogs, are they on Instagram? I know the Penny Hoarder is.
Well, yes. So Penny Hoarder is on Instagram. I believe Millennium Money is also on Instagram, but I'm not even talking about the Instagram. You can follow them on Instagram. Usually what they do on Instagram is they'll put up a picture and then they put the link to the full post in there. So you can follow them on Instagram. I personally would like to follow, like go to the blog himself and enter your email address to get newsletters, right? Because with Instagram, you have to go to Instagram to know. But with these other means of signing up, they send you stuff automatically every day, right? You can also sign up for push notifications. So there are many other people on Instagram, but to be honest with you, I mean, a picture or two might sound very inspirational, but you need details sometimes.
So I'm going to ask you guys, everybody, if we can take 1 or 2 minutes to actually do that action. I don't want you guys to forget that. Okay, let's make that like an instant action item, right? While this is going on. So I have gone ahead and I've followed them, and then I'm signing up for the blogs right now. So okay, somebody's asking that the first one was Penny Hoarders. What's the other one, please? The other one was
there's a lot. So there's Millennium Money.
Yeah,
there's money on that. There's money on that 30. Money on that 30 is so awesome. And you might be over 30, you might be under 30, but it's just so awesome because they have a lot of tips. They have a lot of like education. There is Investopedia, for instance. Yeah. Investopedia is awesome where, it's run like a school, a financial school, and it's free. So you can go there, watch videos about investment, about money, about debt, about liabilities. So there's a lot of things. So there are a bunch of them. There are a bunch of them out there. And also they're like, YouTube YouTubers that I also follow. And so there are a lot of them out there. But Millennium Money is one that I think is very good. Penny Others is really good. It helps you really save and manage your money. Money Under 30 is very, versatile, right? You talk about a lot of things, but you're really going to learn. And then Investopedia is one where you can sign up for, but you can also visit. Just if you use like a desktop or even on your phone, just bookmark that link, right? So you can go back there and learn as much as you want to.
Yes. So guys, just make that an action item. Join one or two, because I don't want you guys to forget to do this. Okay. We want to make sure that this class is super beneficial. It's not for you to just come and listen to us talk, but for you to actually take steps. So you and if you're following, you already have 2 homeworks right now. So if you're not following, take notes. One is right after this class, right? The first thing you're going to do is to calculate how much you have in debt, all of your loans, your school loan, your mortgage, your car loan, yeah, Basira's loan. You're collecting Fridays every Sunday, and you've not been paid. That's a loan too. All of your debts, write everything down. Whatever it is you're owing, you bought a cell phone and you owe $500 on it. You're just paying $20. That's a loan as well. Add all of that, and then do a summary also of what you have, your liquid cash that you have, right, Dayo? And then you want to subtract your liquid cash, what you have. So your assets and everything, you want to subtract that from what you owe out there. So that helps you have a good understanding of what you need to do financially and how much money that you need to make. So that's one homework, okay? Do that. And then the second one is, like you said, follow all of these blogs. Follow as many as you can. Sign up for their newsletters. If you're on social media, follow them as well. And then I think the third thing, actually, 3 assignments, look into buying a book about finances, money, and all of that. And he recommended The Millionaire Next Door. So write that down so that you can find those. If you want to read the book, go on Amazon. I'm sure it's going to be on Amazon. Find it there. Barnes & Noble also has it. Or like I said, go on YouTube and follow people who have done a digest of, a breakdown of this book. I think you should actually get the physical book, okay? So that you can go back so many times and read through. So that's 3 assignments, everybody. 3 assignments. Make sure you have all of that written down. Sorry, Dayo, please, let's carry on.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. So you've heard it all, so make sure you're doing those things. One thing I want to talk about real quick before we go into the second half is your net worth. Also, if you have a house, right, your net worth includes the value of that house. Even though it's unrealized, it includes the value of the house. And so you can put that as your asset and deduct the balance of your mortgage from that. So that, I don't know if that makes sense. So if you have a house that's worth 100,000 right now, but you're still owing 30,000 on it, so you add the 100,000 to your asset, and then you have the 30,000 to your liabilities or your debt, right? So that still plays into your net worth. All right, number 2. So I want us to move very quickly with this so we can get to questions and then go straight to the demo. Number 2 is financial frugality, right? So we talked about financial literacy, and this is frugality, all right? Now, a lot of people know a lot about money. They know a lot about investment. They know a lot about, how money works. The problem is they're not disciplined, right? Financial frugality talks about financial discipline, but discipline needs to be learned. Some people are born with, leanings or tendencies to be disciplined, but it's something that needs to be developed and learned. And there are methods to do this, right? An easy way is to have a budget, right? Have a financial budget. Now, you can have a budget for your time. You can have a budget for a lot of things. A lot of people might not have known that, but you can have budgets for a lot of things in your life. But I'm specifically talking about a financial budget here, right? So have a budget for your spending, track your expenses, right? Track your expenses. The problem with a lot of people that I know personally is they make a lot of money, but they're able to save only little of that. Why? Because they're not able to track their expenses. they've left everything to autopilot, and things are just kind of going off with their account, and payments are going, bills are going, and they're not taking time to go back and actually track, right, how to do that. There are many ways to have a budget, or to utilize a budget. You can download a budget template, right? I'll let you go Google that. If you need one, you can reach out to the host or myself after the session. I can give you the template, right? There are also apps that help you manage your money. So there's a lot of them. There is Betterment, I believe. There is I forget the name of the ones that I use very often. It kind of tells me every time there's a bill, if there's an unusual bill. For instance, take for example, my Verizon bill at the house. Our Verizon bill is for internet is $39.99. So we try to find the cheapest. For some reason, last month they charged us $189. I would not have known that if I left my account on autopilot. But that app told me that my Verizon bill was 4 times or 3 times higher this month. And that just kind of alarmed me. So I called them. For some reason, they had charged me for a product that they had told me I wasn't going to pay for. And so I was able to call them and get a refund of that. So track your expenses, make sure that you're doing all that. It takes discipline, because a lot of people will feel like, oh, the stress of having to call Verizon and I'll stay on the phone for like 3 hours. It's a culture that you want to build. It's not about the time that you stay on the phone, but you're building yourself up as a financially disciplined person, right? Avoid waste and excesses. Use what you have. Avoid the need to buy things that you don't need, right? America is a place where there's a lot of traps around, like sales. I was, making a joke with my wife the other day. Someone put up a watch. I believe the watch was supposed to sell for $50,000, and they're saying, "Oh, this watch is not $40,000. You can save 10,000." I'm like, what? Me spending 40,000 is actually saving 10,000. Why don't I just save the whole 50,000? Right? So the concept of sales or get 10% off, don't let that lure you into buying something that you do not need. Avoid waste. Right? If a lot of people were to go into their closets and move things out that they don't use but they bought new, a lot of people would be able to make a lot of money selling off those things. So avoid waste, avoid unnecessary debt. Right? Don't use a credit card to pay for a want, for instance, something that's not a need, right? Of course, you need to take out debt to buy a house, to buy a car sometimes, but don't take out debt for unnecessary reasons. So I want you to start thinking about all these things in your personal life, in your family life, in your finances, right? To start to really adhere to these financial frugality tips, right? And then beware of the little foxes. I say this a lot to people. The Bible says, catch us the foxes, the little foxes that defile our vines, for our vines have tender grapes. And a lot of you, I don't know if everyone is Christian here, but this is a fundamental principle. There are just little things that make you not reach your financial goals, and you don't know those things. For instance, charges, right? You're late on the payment of a credit card bill. They charge you, then it affects your credit. Right, there are little penalties here and there. You get a ticket in DC, it's $100, and you miss the date, and boom, it goes to $200. That's an additional $100 that you could have saved or invested, right? So beware of those type of things. Be responsible, be up to date on your finances, right? I hope people are gaining something so far, right? So the financial frugality challenge that I have for you, like I had the first challenge, there's a second challenge here, is sit down today. If you have a spouse, that's fine. If you don't, sit down by yourself and list out, create a simple budget that works for you, right? Your budget doesn't have to be complicated. It just needs to be usable. It needs to be, it needs to be something that you can stick with, right? So create it can be a very, very simple Excel spreadsheet, or even something that is reusable, right? So list out your income. List out your what I call fixed expenses. So fixed expenses will be things like your mortgage, your rent, your car payment. Those things are fixed. You're really not able to, there's not a lot of flexibility around that, right? And then your flexible expenses. So things like food, for instance, that's very flexible. Things like gas, things like, discretionary expenses. Those are flexible. You can decide to reduce your money for food, from $300 to $200 by shopping at a Costco, for instance, or by going to like somewhere where things are cheaper, not necessarily lower quality, but places where you can save money, right? So list all that out. List out your emergency expenses. Some emergency expenses, and this is another catch for a lot of people. Some things that you call emergency expenses are now recurring expenses, and you need to be aware of those, right? It's okay for something to be an emergency first month, second month, but if it becomes an emergency every single month where someone is calling you to send them money urgently, or you're having to urgently send money to someone or do something, that's no more an emergency, because you need to start to think about that as a regular expense. And then budget to say, no matter who is dying, I don't mean this in a rude way, but no matter what's happening, I'm not going to spend more than $200 this month for this cause, right? So you're being financially disciplined, right? Of course, I'm going to talk about giving, but giving doesn't mean you're giving foolishly, right? So you have to be financially frugal, right? You can download some templates, like I said, online. It's everywhere. You can also reach out to me for that. All right, the third F is financial foresight. This is the core of our conversation today. So financial foresight really talks about being able to see ahead and plan ahead. One thing a lot of people don't remember, which I said at the beginning of this call, is wealth needs to be built. Some people are going to get lucky in their lifetime. They're going to win the lottery, or they're going to sell a company, or they're going to come up with a great idea that makes them millions of dollars. But the rest of the population is going to have to build wealth, right? It's very important. The rest of the population is going to have to build wealth. A lot of people just think about making, $50,000 a year. I'm good right now. I'm able to, buy a house. I'm able to buy a car. I'm able to pay my bills. But they're not thinking about building wealth. So you have to have financial foresight. Wealth is built. It doesn't just, you don't just say, oh yeah, I'm not able to do anything right now. Once, I have that big job, boom, I'm going to have a lot of money. No, you have to start investing. I heard a crazy statistics when I started to work a number of years ago, when I started to work in corporate America. And what I learned is that someone who starts to invest at the age of 22, if they invest consistently for about 15 years and stop investing and have their investment grow, they would outperform someone who is starting at the age of 40, but investing 3 times what they started to invest at 22. That talks to you about the power of compounding, or the power of compound interest. You have to start today. You cannot defer your investment or your financial wealth generation plans till the future. It's got to start today, right? And so that's financial foresight. And how do you start to do that? Have a financial goal, right? At the end of this month, I want to be able to save $1,000. I want to be able to invest $100. At the end of 5 years, myself, my family, this is our financial goal. This is going to be our net worth, right? So if you do your exercise today, you figure out that your net worth is $1,000. So you're saying in the next 5 years, I want that to be $3,000, $10,000, $20,000, whatever your goal is. Have a goal, right? Have a financial goal. Don't just live your life financially anyhow, right? And so the other thing is to save. And this is a no-brainer, right? So if you build wealth, you need to save. You need to save. So my recommendation is for you to save, at least 10 to 20% of your income, if allowable. And really don't just say, oh, there's no way for me to save that. My expenses after, I do my givings and, my religious organizations, and I, give to my family, and I pay my rent or my mortgages. There's really no way to save. The answer to that is you need to examine, like I said, go back, examine your expenses. Look for places where there are some loopholes, right? Look for places where you can pick up some extra change and save. But everyone can save, regardless of where you are. Everyone can save, right? And so save, there are different ways you can save. Of course, the traditional savings account, Those are very secure, but less rewards, right? You can save in what they call fixed deposits, right? There isn't a lot of fixed deposit companies in the US, but there are a lot of companies that give certificate of deposits where you can get 2, 3, 4, 5% on your investment depending on the duration. We'll talk a little more about that, but I want to get through this very quickly. And then invest. This is the core of our conversation today. We get into that. Make sure you're investing. Invest for your children if you have any children. There are 529 plans are the common ones, but you can also start a trust fund for them. You can start you can start a regular savings account for them. Open it in your name. Of course, don't touch it. A good one would be to have an online savings account where you don't have a debit card, you don't have anything. It keeps growing, and then when they're of age, you can transfer that money over to them, right? So if you don't have all the knowledge about investing, which you're going to be getting some of that today, open something for your children, pay down your debt. That's also a way to build financial, to build wealth in the future, right? So by paying down your debt, you're reducing the amount you're going to pay in interest over time. You're also increasing your net worth and those type of things, right? So pay down your debt, invest in education. So this session is a good one. This shouldn't be your last session. Take advantage of many free sessions that are going on. I've given you some links online that you can learn. So invest in financial education, start or invest in a business, right? A lot of people have side hustle. There's nothing that stops you from starting your own business. And if you're not the entrepreneurial type, find a business you can invest in. Of course, there's a lot of things that goes into that: trust, understanding, knowing exactly what the business is about. But you can also do that. That's another way to grow your money or to be a business owner. If you don't have that entrepreneurial spirit, you can invest in a business, right? Of course, invest in physical fitness. Someone is asking, why does this matter, right? You need strength to make money, both physical strength and mental strength. So you need to be physically fit, right? So let's move to this. Yeah.
I wanted to just say something. So you were mentioning about ways that you can save. I wanted to give you guys a tip, something that worked for me. So I was one of those people a few years back where I just felt like after being paid, after all of my bills, after this one has collected, that one has collected, I didn't have anything left, right? And then I saw something on Dave Ramsey, who I follow, right? And he had suggested years back that open a separate account that you cannot touch, preferably maybe an online account or something where you don't collect any checkbook for it, don't collect any ATM card, debit card, any card, don't collect anything that gives you access to it. Make it online. So what I started doing was I went on my company's on what's called the internet, the company I works for, internet, and I've done this with each company that I've worked for, right? And you go to basically your payroll section, right, where you can determine how much you want to come into what account. Some banks would, your payroll, your company's payroll will allow you, most of them will allow you to split your paycheck into up to 4 different, amounts. You can do it by percentage or you can do it by fixed amount, and they will transfer it to up to 4 different accounts. Some people don't do that, but believe me, they do that. You can go in there and say, this is how much you want to bank account A, and then this is how much. So what I started doing was a certain percentage of my my paycheck, bi-weekly paycheck, I have that going to a separate account that I did, in fact, I think I've had an account for a few years. I literally just even realized when I was shredding my old mail that they actually sent me a bank card. The card has been there and has expired, and I just literally saw it in the envelope. That's to tell you that I didn't even go looking for it. And guess what? The reason is because money that you don't see, you are very unlikely to spend it. That was the trick. It's when you're opening your bank account every time you're seeing money, that's when the money starts to go. But if you put it in a place where you're not accessing, you just ignore it there, you're not going to go after it. And you know that no matter what happens, hell will have to freeze over before you even go and dip into that. And so very recently, I think the bank that I used then had made some changes, and it required us to log in into our accounts to make some. So I looked at it, I saw how much, I said, me? So I can even flex if I want to. Okay, I'm not going to flex, but I was happy and I was impressed with myself. And I almost cried that day because I was like, okay, I'm very proud of you, Seun, that you took the step. One additional thing that I learned also from Dave Ramsey and I applied also was that anytime, if you're already living, if you're able to meet your financial goals already with what you're earning, right? You're not going into debt if you're spending prudently. Every time you receive an increase in salary, you get a pay raise, right? Rather than take that money to add it into your flexing account that you're spending out, I went back to that account and increased the amount of money that was being taken from my paycheck and kept in there. So I'm still living, and that's what I do. No matter how much, how many increases or raises I will get from today to tomorrow, I'm going to make sure that I'm still living off of what I was earning years back, right? So whatever all those things are extra, and I just put that into that account. And if you do that, you'll be very, very surprised. Give yourself 1-2 years. You'll be absolutely surprised how much you're able to save. So like Daya said, he said, try to save 10 to 20% of your salary. Trust me, you can start with 10, you can start with 15%. Let it just be going into that account. And you will be very surprised that you can live off of what is left. But also make sure that you're not going into debt in order to keep up with the Joneses. Just so that account then is just create a separate account. That's what I'm just trying to say. If you find it hard to save just the traditional way. So
thank you so much. I think that's very those are very practical, strategies that you can take. You can start to take those today, right? Thank you. If you have any questions, I think this is a great time for you to start typing them in, or coming up with them before we get into the demo proper. But so point number 4 is financial generosity. This has been on your screen for a while, so you probably read through it. But the first thing I want to tell you is, if you look at just the world around us, you notice that the people who have the most money are the people who give the most money. And it's easy to say, oh yeah, they can give $1 million because they have it. No, they can give $1 million because they have the aptitude to give, not because they have the money. A lot of people have a lot of money, they don't give out any money, right? So you have to start to cultivate the habit of giving. It has a way, a magical way, right? It has a supernatural way. That's another, adjective for it, but it has a way to increase your wealth, because not only are you able to increase your money, you're increasing your goodwill, right? You're increasing your network, you're increasing a lot of things that help you build wealth, right? So give to God, of course, give to your family, give to charities and causes, right? Also give to the poor. These are very important. Again, make sure that you're budgeting how you're giving. You're not just giving everything. So budget a percentage of your income. Maybe it's monthly, maybe it's quarterly, maybe it's annually. Just budget a percentage of your income that you're going to commit to giving, right? So this is very, very important. The last F before we go into investing is financial abundance mindset. You've heard this before, but maybe you don't believe it's true, that what you think about the most is what you experience in your life. So your mentality defines your reality, right? So you have to start to think financially free. A lot of people are bill conscious. They're always thinking about bills. And when they get a job, or when they're looking for a job, their mentality is, if only I can get more money so that I can pay my bills, or so that I can get by, so I can buy this or buy that. But you have to start to think financially free. Think financial abundance, right? Speak it, think it. You might not have the money right now, but know that you're going to buy that house that you want. Know that you're going to be able to afford your family the luxury that they want. Speak those things into existence. Think it. Let it be the way that you think, right? There is, it's interesting. Yesterday, I was talking to my wife, and I said, I was looking up a speaker who kind of does the same thing that I do. It speaks on an international level. And I said something that, I've thought about it before, but I said it again. It's because when that person speaks, the way that they process information, or the way that they think about what they're saying, is going to be very different from the way that I think about my information, because of our background and because of how we grew up. Now, a lot of you, even though you work in corporate America, when you think about stuff, you're thinking about that thing from a lenses of where you grew up from. And so it's even possible that you're thinking about what you're saying in your local dialect, even though you're speaking it out in English with an American accent, right? And so that way of thinking affects the way that you deliver it. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's the same thing with your financing and with a lot of things in your life. You have to align or change your mentality. And you start to see that the things that you're saying will start to align with the way that you're thinking, and it also start to align with the reality in your life. This is a powerful truth. It's a powerful, concept or principle. So you have to start to think financially free. Act it, speak it, constantly review your goals. That's part of the mentality, because you know that you have a goal, you know for sure you're going to meet that goal. So you have to keep, constantly reviewing your goals. All right. And so that marks the end of the F5. Now we go into investment. Are there any questions before we drill into investment? Did someone have a question that we can answer real quickly? I think we can spend maybe about 2 to 3 minutes answering questions before we go into investment. Was there a question? You're on mute. Awesome. So I see one question.
Yeah, we have 2 questions. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
One said, the first question from Ayo is, what do you think about sushi?
I think this person is talking about thrifting.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a beautiful, long-standing, ancient way of saving money. It's very good. Now, it's based on trust, of course, right? It's based on trust. But the good thing about that is it helps you appreciate the value of not compounding, if you will, but the fact that you're part of a community, you're held responsible. It's like paying a bill, right? So it makes you responsible to put in money and save. I think it's beautiful. Of course, there aren't any interest on it. And it's very similar to like a traditional saving account. But the good thing is you can leverage that power of the community where you can take the money up front to do some things and then you pay it back, right? But my advice is make sure that you're doing it with people that you trust. Make sure that there's some structure around it. Make sure that the people that are in it are very disciplined, right? You don't want to fall into a situation where someone is falling short and then it's affecting your own financial goals. So, and then if you're part of it, also make sure that you're financially responsible, right? Because it's expected of everyone in it, including yourself. So I don't have anything against it. I think it's very good. I think it's a tested and tried way to save money. The only issue is, of course, security, insurance, and things like that. So I would say that that's good. I think I see the second question here. The other one is it better to keep the money in the bank or invest it? I'm going to show you a statistics right now that answers that question. But I think that it is, if you know what you're doing, if you know, the places to invest in, it's always better to invest your money over the long term. But you need to also have a savings account. The guru says to have at least 6 months. It's very difficult for a lot of people, but it's also very reasonable. It's have 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses saved up. So this is where your budget comes in. If you know what your expenses are every month, have at least 3 to 6 months of that. So let's say every month your expenses is $2,500, right? You have $700 for rent, you have $300 for your car payment, you have $1,000, $500 for food, whatever way that the structure is. You need to save between $7,500 and 15,000, right? So that's between 3 to 6 months of your income. Have that saved up in a liquid account. A liquid account means something that you can easily pull out from. right? So like a savings account or sometimes a CD or like a thrift, like that other person said. So in something that's liquid, so if you run into emergencies, you can have, or if you find another reason to have that kind of money saved up is if you have an investment opportunity that comes. We'll talk about not making investment hastily, right? But you might find an investment opportunity that comes and you need cash to tap into it, right? So I believe that answers that question. Great. So I would go into this. Investing involves committing money, right? That's the first principle. You need money to invest. A lot of people are they try to shy away from that. They're looking for the investment that has the least money or how they can turn $100 to $1,000. That's money doubling. That's fake, right? You need money to invest. Now, your investment can do very well in terms of returns over investment, ROI, but you need money to invest. There's no way around it, right? You need money to invest. So it's committing your money in order to earn financial return. It essentially means that you're investing money to make money and achieve your financial goals, right? All right, so this is the chart that I wanted to show you. Now, these are three different ways that people can save money or manage their money. You know, some people have just a checking account. This is a bad idea. They pay all their salaries into a checking account. They spend on that checking account. They pay bills from that checking account. It's just a revolving cycle. They don't have a savings account. They don't have anything. All the money that they have in this world is kept in the checking account, right? Some other people have a savings account, which is good. So we just talked about that. The average, the average interest on savings accounts right now is maybe 0.05, 0.07. There are, online accounts that offer you between 0.5 to maybe like 1.3. Rates have come down right now because of COVID-19. A lot of companies, a lot of banks, and their projections might not be looking as good, so they've reduced the rates. But you can still find online account like HSBC or Goldman Sachs, Marcus, which you can open just from your computer. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go into a bank, nothing. You open it. They can still give you rates like 0.8, 0.9, 1.0, which is good. It's a lot better than keeping your money under your bed, right? Or under your pillow. So you can still get. So now look at this chart. There's someone who had their money in a checking account. Someone else has the money in a savings account. And someone else has the money in an investment account. You can see how things start to grow over the period of 30 years. The investment account at the end of 30 years is more than 4 times, right? The money that was kept in a regular savings account, for instance, right? Or a regular checking account. I wanted to pull up an investment calculator. Actually, I think I should do it if you guys don't mind. Let me do it and I can maybe come back to this. More this panel. Right. So I would just look for an investment calculator. So let me go and look for simple investment calculator. So this is a simple investment calculator, right? I just want to start to open your mind up to how investment works, right? So you have, I will try to round this up right now. So, yeah.
The audio, remember what happened the last time? It just happened now, as soon as you started sharing this.
Okay, so this is, I think I might know why. Is it back now?
No, not yet. It's the same.
Okay. Is it better?
Nope, same thing. Oh, talk again. Say something.
Is it good
No.
now? So sorry. So sorry about that. Okay.
Please bear with us, guys. We just have to fix this audio so you guys can have the best quality audio.
How's it now?
Same thing.
All right, how is it now?
Yes, better.
Great, great. So sorry about that, guys. Number of technical issues on my side here. All right, so what I have on here is an investment calculator. And really what I want to just show you is how your investment can differentiate you, or how your investment can grow over time, right? So just, quick example here. So let's say that you, today, just right now, you have $2,000, right? That you're ready to invest. And you want to invest over the period of 10 years. And like I showed you earlier, the average return over investment on most investments in the US is 7%. Most people do way more than that. I've had my investment portfolio in a particular year, go up like 25%, 29%. Sometimes you lose money, but average is at least 7%. So I'll change this percentage here to 7%, all right? And let's say you want to invest over a period of, like I said, 10 years. And so if you contributed $1,000 every month, for instance, let's calculate exactly what you're going to have in 10 years. Over the course of 10 years, you're going to have a total of $174,000, right? Someone is saying, well, that's too much. I don't have $1,000 to invest. I only have $100 to invest every month. Okay, so we change that to $100 and we calculate that. You're gonna have 21,000 every month. Sorry, at the end of the period, right? So let's compare this to a savings account. Let's say you get a good savings account that gives you 1% on your money, and you're putting $100, you're saving $100. I'll calculate that for you. What do you have? 14,000. If you invested that money, you have 28,000. If you saved it, you have 14,000. That's double the money over time. And then if you increase the number of years, it'll almost multiply it by 10, right? And so this just kind of shows you the power of investing. Make sense? All right. So I would go back to our screen here and continue our conversation. So I showed you this chart. And so now we get into the main, concepts of investment before we go into the demo real quick. So with investment, you need to understand that there's risk, right? There's a potential that you can lose money. Actually, there's a potential you can lose all your money. So I have invested in companies where the companies went bankrupt, all my money was gone, right? I've invested in businesses that shut down, and my money was nowhere to be found. I have also invested in companies where the returns went up a lot. A good example was back in, I think, 2015 or maybe 2014. I bought some shares with a company called Weight Watchers. A lot of you might know the company. It was just around the time when Oprah Winfrey invested a lot in the company, so it became very valuable. I bought that stock at, I believe it was $6 or something like that. It fluctuated around. I was able to get it at a very low price. At some point, that stock went up to about $70, right? So what that means is it went up times 12. If I had $10,000 to invest in that stock at that time, when it was $72, it means that I was probably up $120,000, right? And so those are the things with investment. There's risk involved. It can go up and it can go down. The other thing with investment is you need to diversify your investment. Don't just go do an investment because people are saying, oh, Forex is what people are doing right now. I'll go put all my money in Forex. Or I take all my money out because now they're saying real estate is the thing. I go put all my money in real estate. You all know that real estate also can crash sometimes, right? Over time, it goes up, right? Over time, your investment goes up, but you need to be able to diversify your investment and invest in different things to balance out your portfolio. The third thing is you need to know what you're investing in. Don't invest in something you don't know. Don't invest in something you've not done a due diligence on. Don't just go by what your friends are telling you. Oh, if you put $10,000 in this, it's gonna turn into $100,000. In the moment where you put your $10,000 is when everything crashes, right? You need to understand exactly what you're investing in. There's a cost that comes with investing, right? There's always a cost. Investments on some platforms, it might be free, but there's usually always a cost that comes with investment. To get money over your investment, it takes time. And so some of you want to invest $100 today and then get $1,000 tomorrow. It doesn't work like that, right? You need time. You need time on your investment. The other thing is understand investment performance. I think that's also going to be very useful for you as you build wealth. What's the performance? Are you thinking on, you a value investor where you're basing your performance based on the value of the company? Do you want to generate monthly income? What are your strategies? And we get into that, but understand what performance is. So things like return over investment, prices, and those type of things, dividend prices and all that. Asset allocation and balancing. This kind of goes with diversification, but it just talks about where and how you invest your money. Now, some people might already be very familiar with these terms. Some people might be very new to you, but it's really basically thinking about how to balance your assets. You want to buy stocks, you want to buy bonds, you want to buy ETFs, you want to have retirement accounts. How do you want to, balance that out, right? So these are just key concepts. Other concepts that I want to share with you is long-term versus short-term, right? Some people invest for the long term. So you're thinking about like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Some other people can invest for the short term, right? So you're investing in like options, you're trading options, or you're investing in Forex. Those are more like short-term investment, or you're investing in like a CD for like 2 years or 5 years, a certificate of deposit. Right, so those are short term and long term. So you have to think about what's the strategy that I want to implement. Right, there's also active versus passive investment. An active investor is someone who is constantly monitoring, right, on a day-to-day. They're buying and selling, they're investing, they're doing all these things. And there's this passive investment where you kind of put your investment on autopilot and you're not really looking at it, right? So like a retirement account, right? So you're depositing money based on a percentage of your paycheck, or you're doing a self-directed retirement account, or you're, just autopiloting. So you're not looking to make like monthly income from your investment, for instance. So that's passive investment. Low risk versus high risk. The lower the risk, the lower the returns. The higher the risk, the higher the return. So you need to find your balance. You want to be someone who's more conservative, or you want to be someone who's very aggressive, right? So you can take on risk by, buying a stock in a company that's very volatile. It can go way up and it can go way down, right? So that's that. There's equity investment. Equity investment just basically means an investment where you have an equity in what you're investing in, or like the business. So equity investment can be buying stocks of a company. It can be buying real estate. That's also equity investment. It can be buying, ETFs or those type of things. And then there's debt investment. Debt investment means that you're technically borrowing. It's like a corporate bond or a government debt. So you're buying bonds, you're borrowing people money. There's a guaranteed return that you're getting. There are also other ways to do debt investment where you go into like where they call, there are some platforms, they do crowdfunding or crowd lending. So some people come up there, they'll say, I need $5,000, and then you can contribute $200 to that $5,000 at an interest rate of 5%, for instance. So you make 5% over your $200 investment. So basically, you're borrowing to an organization, to an individual, or to the government. And then there's also value investing. Value investing is very similar to equity investing. It's really just a strategy where you're buying something, you're buying a stock of a company that you know that this company is going to do well in the future. You think that their stock prices are very low right now. So you're buying into that so that it can grow over time. There's some companies that have been around for a long time, like Walmart, General Electric. These are companies where you can actually invest in for the long term. All right. So what are the types of investment? And this, I believe, will be our last slide before we go into the demo. So there are stocks. I've talked about stocks a lot. Stocks really just means that you are buying a part of a company. So you can buy one share of Apple. You can buy one share of Amazon. Some of them are very expensive. Some of them are cheaper. You can buy a stock of Walmart. You can buy a stock of Tesla. You can buy a stock of companies that you know. But like I said, investing comes with knowledge. Know the business that you're investing with. There are bonds. I talk about bonds. Bonds are debt investments. So you're technically borrowing money to a government, to a company, or a group of companies, or to individuals at a particular interest rate. All right. There are investment funds. So a fund basically is a pool of stocks or a pool of investment instruments. So some of them like mutual funds or exchange traded funds. The good thing about the funds is they're lower risk because of the way that they're structured. If you buy Apple stocks, for instance, Apple can crash tomorrow where you lose all your money. But if you buy like an ETF, really what those ETFs are made of is stocks or bonds from different organizations, different companies, different governments. So they put everything together. So an ETF can have 5 technology stocks or 10 commodity stocks. So if one company crashes, the other company does. So it'd be very hard for you to lose all your money in an investment trust, right? And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And then there are bank products. Of course, we talked about certificate of deposit. We talked about fixed deposit, regular savings account. Those are investment. Some banks sometimes will also offer premium investment, products to some of their loyal customers, right? A bank might, reach out to you and say, hey, we have this thing where you can make 5% over the next 5 years. It's only for a few customers. So there are things like that. They're what we call options. Options are also a way to invest. It's very complex. Some people might know about it, but it's basically investing in an option to buy a company stock. So let's say, for instance, you can buy the option to buy. You can invest in an option to buy Amazon stocks because you know that stock is going to appreciate. So let's say the stock is at $20 right now. You know the stock in the next 3 weeks is going to go to $40. You can buy an option to buy that stocks at $20 anytime within the next 4 weeks. So that if the price goes up to 40, you still have the opportunity to buy it at 20, and then you can sell it off for profit. So that's really the basic concept of options. It's a little more complicated than that. There are annuities that you can cash in on. There's like retirement accounts, which I encourage everyone on this call. If you don't have a retirement account, you're wasting your time. I can tell you that for sure. I started out my, corporate America. When I started working in corporate America, I started out by putting 20% of my income. I was a single person. I didn't really need all the money. 20% of my income towards retirement. And I was amazed on how we grew. And like I also said earlier, money that you don't see doesn't really matter, right? So I just put it where autopilot 20%. I, self-direct the account sometimes. I change my investment based on my knowledge, but you need to have, if you don't have a company that offers retirement accounts, open an individual retirement account that you can self-direct like an IRA or a Roth IRA. There are many companies. I'll answer questions on that. Save for education, we've talked about 529. Alternatives or complex products, those are there. Cryptocurrencies and other ways to invest. I wish that I invested in Bitcoin, for instance, when it just started, right? I do have an investment in it, but I haven't really seen a lot of return if like I would have seen if I started to invest in it when it first came out, right? So cryptocurrencies, of course, commodities. With commodities, it's what it is, commodities, right? Some people invest in commodities. So, for instance, uh, um, oil, right? So if you a few months ago, oil prices or fuel prices were down. If you had a place where you could store it, you could have bought that and sold it at a higher price. Another way to do that is to invest in companies that sell commodities, right? Stock prices for energy companies were down a couple months ago. Even without coronavirus, you could have invested in that and then it'll go up, right? So that's commodities, there's futures, and of course, there's some insurance products that you can invest in. Right. So I am going to stop talking right now. I'll talk a little bit about the platforms, the minimum, and then we can go into the demo and then we'll take questions.
Awesome. So we have some questions in the chat. Do you want to take this one before we move on, or if we just continue?
Okay, yeah, I can take them.
Okay. So somebody's asking, should you get a retirement account other than the one with the company you currently work for?
You don't have to, but you can. But you need to maximize the one with your company first before you start thinking about another one, right? Maximize. So some companies offer what they call matching, meaning that they'll give you, they'll match or give you money based on money that you're contributing. I've worked with companies where they did a 6% match, meaning that if I made $100,000 and I contribute $6,000 to my retirement account, they would match it to $6,000. I've had worked with companies that did maybe like 2.5%, so depending, but make sure that you're maximizing that, right? For most accounts, for most companies, the max you can put in is the max for that year. So the IRS will always set a maximum, because there's also the retirement account tax advantage accounts, right? They can help you reduce your tax burden at the end of the year. So the maximum usually is about 18,500, 19,000, depending on the year. Sometimes it fluctuates. And then for people who are 55 years older, they have the opportunity to give more. I have been very lucky to work for companies that help you do more than that, right? Do more than 18,000. One of the companies that I work for helped you do up to 55,000 in what they call like a thrift retirement account. So there are other options, but make sure that you're maximizing what you have at your current employer, and then you can look into like an IRA. Some IRAs have lower limits, right? I know some of them, I think the maximum you can put in is maybe like $4,500, really is the maximum that you can put in. But you can also have some other, investments account out there where you can put in more. But make sure to maximize the one that is qualified with your company. The only reason not to do that and do other ones is if the funds or the options that the investment at your company provide isn't really good or doesn't give you the flexibility. But I assume that most people don't even know a lot about that. So I'd say stick with that. Not only is it better because it's auto-generated, you can maximize the matching, and you usually would have, with the company ones, you usually sometimes have access to like professional advice, professional services, and management services like that. So any other questions?
Yes, we have a few more questions actually. So on YouTube, someone is asking, considering the economy is nosediving now due to COVID, do you think this is a good time to buy stocks? Why or why not?
All right, so that is actually 2 months ago. I can tell you that right now, as of today's Saturday, as of Tuesday, I believe the stock market recorded its highest point. So the Dow Jones and S&P 500 went up. So what you're talking about is actually 2 months ago. Stocks are back. A lot of the stocks are back at their pre-COVID prices now. But the best time to invest was yesterday. The next best time is today. So today is a good time to invest. Yesterday was a good time, but today is also a good time. So whenever you're ready, make sure you're invested. Don't try to time the market. Of course, if you invested 2 months ago, it would have been a perfect time to invest because you will have made a lot of money. specifically March 25th, this past March 25th. If you invested $100, hypothetically, if you invested $100 in some companies like Tesla or Zoom, you probably would be at $500 right now, because a lot of those investment went 5 times, 4 times. So think of that if you had $10,000 or $100,000. So of course, there's going to be opportunities like that come through, but don't only wait for when the market is nosediving to invest. But of course, the answer to your question is yes. This is a good time to invest. People are forecasting that there might be a wave of COVID coming up. I don't know how feasible that is if we have a vaccine. But regardless of what it is, people are expecting that closer to election period or right after election, the markets might go down. So it might also be an opportunity to save some money up so that you can invest if you missed the COVID window that just passed.
Okay. So we have another question here is as a business owner, are you advising investing money outrightly or on fixed investments like housing and then in stocks? Do you advise scattered investments or investing solely in major firms and staying on a few?
Okay, so I think the key is diversification and your financial goals, right? As a business owner, I want to assume that your income you might have a baseline, but your income isn't, like set in stone. It's not like you're getting a salary, right? So things can fluctuate. So I would say the first thing is to have a goal, right? Have an investment goal based on a percentage of your income, or you can cap it to say, every month I want to invest $1,000, $200, $500, whatever it is. As far as where to invest, this is where diversification comes in. Real estate is very good. It's a very good investment, but there are a lot of people who invest in real estate but not in physical properties, right? There's what they call real estate investment trust. You can invest in trust, like I talked about trust funds. You can invest in trust that invest in physical real estate. You can also invest in physical real estate. Now, you need to be very very knowledgeable about real estate investing, because not every real estate investor makes money. I've heard and people have said, which I think is true, that most successful investors invest in real estate. While that's true, you need to know what real estate investment is all about, because you can be in the negative, right? People think, oh, I'm investing in real estate, people are paying for the mortgage and boom, I'm making money. No, it's not as simple as that. You can invest in a property that doesn't appreciate. You can invest in a property where you're spending more than you're making. You can invest in a property where, the interest rate isn't just favorable for you. So you need to think about all that. And then if you need to invest in like major firms and leave all that out, of course, big firms or what they call large cap companies are safer most times to invest in, because they tend to be more stable. They tend to be least affected by a lot of issues. Smaller companies can go extinct very easily. But so it's a safer investment. But based on the investment strategy, diversification is key. So invest in like trusts and like ETFs or mutual funds, as opposed stocks are very good. But I have less stock investment. I have more exchange traded funds and mutual funds. So invest in things that already have that balancing done for you, or that diversification already done for you, right? So, and I'll show you some of those things in a second.
Okay. So I know we have 2 more questions, guys. Maybe we can take this really quickly so we can move on to the other ones. I'm sorry, to our next phase. Somebody is okay. So the original question was, how much should you be investing in stocks and in the stock markets? And I said 10 to 20% of your income, and just asking, should that be every month or should that be a yearly thing?
I think it depends on what you're comfortable with. I would say that investing regularly takes some understanding. So if you're not already doing like a retirement account, which is also investing in the stock market, because you're buying financial products, you can do the investment. Once you start to get an hang of it, you can save up your money and then do a big bang maybe quarterly or twice a year or once a year, right? Depending on how much you know about investment and how comfortable you are, you can do it every month, where maybe you're saying every month I want to invest $300. I'll invest $200 on a company that I know. Maybe I'll continue buying more shares of Apple, and then with the rest of the $100, I'll buy other stocks that I've learned about or that I see are doing well. Or you can save up, like I said, $5,000 at the end of the year, and maybe talk to a financial advisor, read online, understand, and say, okay, I want to put my money in buying all these ETFs. Like I said, they're also like people who do like income investment, meaning that they have a lot of money. Maybe they have like $20,000. They buy income generating investment, so investment that pay dividends, where they can make, close to like $200 every month. And then over the course of the year, they can make $2,000 on the $20,000 investment. So the people who kind of do that, while the investment is actually still growing in price, but they're able to get income from it. So the different strategies, it really depends on what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, awesome, great. So the very last question for this segment, we can do more after, is what class of investment does Crowd One fall into?
What class of investment, or what does what?
Crowd One. Who's that?
Crowd One.
Yeah. I'm not sure where that came from.
So if you're talking about, when you say class of investment, are you talking about asset classes? Because asset classes is a completely different thing, and asset ratings and all that stuff. But I don't quite understand that question. Are you talking what type of investment it is, or what class of investment it falls into?
Okay. So I think she says yes, it's a networking business. Yes, type.
Oh, it's a networking business. Well, I don't know about it. If it's a multi-level marketing thing, or like give us $100 and you make $2,000. Again, my thing with those type of things is like a pyramid scheme. My thing with pyramid scheme, it's good. I've seen people who have made a lot of money. I've also seen people who have lost a lot of money. Yeah. The key thing is it's an investment strategy, of course, but understand what this is about. Yeah. Don't just be blown away by the fact that someone showed you their bank account where they dropped $100 and they made $500. That's not the best way to invest. Understand exactly what this business is doing. Yeah. Understand if it's sustainable, right? Understand all that. So know exactly what it is before you go into investment. But I wouldn't advise against it. I've seen people make money, but you have to be very, very extra careful, actually, right?
And like someone said, that would not necessarily be a stock, right? That's not those are not classified as stock. Okay. So we'll move on to the next item, and Dio, we're ready for you. Yeah.
Great, awesome. So we will do the demo. I'd like for our host to show us like the app. So I've asked her to download Robinhood, but before I get into that, let me talk about platforms real quick. There are many platforms where you can invest. Of course, they're like what we call established investment platforms like Vanguard, or the big companies, Fidelity, Goldman Sachs, TD Ameritrade, whatever. They're all these places that you can open online accounts and trade. You can also use what people have termed robo advisors. I don't think they are robotic advisors anymore, because right now you have the flexibility to do a lot of things. It used to be robo when they just kind of took your money and then invested for you. You don't have to do anything. But like there are online platforms or apps that you can use, like Robinhood, to invest. There's Betterment. There's Acorns. Acorns is a little more robo, but it's very good. It's extremely good. And this is for I used to think it's for like beginner investors, but it's also very good for people who really know about investing, because you can, kind of choose your investment strategies, and you can actually use the investment strategies that Acorns is using to manage your funds, and then transfer that over to your own self-directed investment portfolio. So there's Acorns, but today we're going to be talking about Robinhood, right? Minimums. Depending on who you're opening an account with, some people require that you have $3,000 minimum. Some people have $0 minimum. Some people $1,000. So Robinhood, I believe, is maybe $0 minimum. It's been a while I opened it, but I know that Sean, I asked you yesterday to download. Was there a minimum? You might be on mute.
Sorry, there was no minimum.
All right, so you can open that and put $5, $10, whatever it is, right? So that's minimum. Strategies, I talked about strategies a lot already, so we're not going to go into that anymore. And so now is the time to go into the demo.
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen. A minute, everybody. Okay, Daria, I think I might have you. Okay, thank you, and I can share at the same time. Let me share mine.
Let me just stop sharing.
I think I changed it now for both for two people, but let me go ahead and share this right now.
Okay. All right, so this is good. This is good. I love this. All right, great. So I actually prefer the other view that you just had. Maybe you expand. Maybe expanding a little bit.
I expanded it right now. So you want me to shrink it?
I wouldn't say necessary. I don't know. It depends on people. Can other people really see it?
You prefer this way?
Yeah, I like it this way. This is very
okay.
All right, great. Right, great. Sorry. Something blocking my screen here. I'm just trying to. All right, great. So as you see, this is Robinhood. It's a very easy to use app. It's really just point and click. It's very easy. You search for a stock, you click buy, you enter the amount of stock that you want to buy, and boom, that's it. So let's start with so how much do you have in this account? If you click, okay, right, so I right there, it says $100. So this is a simple $100 account, right? You can see that this is blank. She's currently on the 1-day view, and it says 000. So that the first tab where it says 1D, that's the 1-day view, right? So it means that over the past 1 day, the investment hasn't really done much. And you click 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, it's going to be the same thing because this is a new account. All right. Now, the good thing is with this Robinhood, if you scroll down, you can get like some news. You can get some tips on investment that are doing very well. You can get a number of things. But let's start with click into, you see the stocks to the right. The stocks to the right are, it's really the watch list. So watch list is basically stocks that you're watching. If you haven't started doing a lot of investing, it'll default these watch list items to you because I believe these are the items that a lot of people around the world who use this app are currently, watching or monitoring.
So sorry, quick question. I know somebody on YouTube is saying that they cannot see that I should zoom, but I can't see the comments on as I'm sharing, I can't see the comments on the Zoom platform itself. Please, guys on Zoom, can you confirm if you can see my screen properly? If you can, or do we need to make it bigger or?
We can see the screen.
You can see the screen, okay.
I see it too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great.
Sorry, YouTube. Great. I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. Sorry. Okay.
So sorry about that, guys. I see a question here to talk about Acorn's investment. I'll talk a little bit about it at the end of this, and I might be able to maybe show you something here. But all right, great. So you see these things. This you see where it says SNAP or SNAP, AAPL, those things are called tickers or ticker signs or ticker symbols, whatever you want to call them. But they're basically the abbreviations to represent the company for which they are stocks. So those things to the right are actually stocks, right? So let's click into TSLA. That's Tesla.
That's Tesla, okay.
Yeah, so just click into that. And now I'll just try to show you and explain to you exactly, the concept of this stock. So this stock Wrong stock to pick. It's very expensive. It's $2,000. But guess what? Robinhood lets you, and a lot of people haven't started this. Robinhood lets you buy fractional stocks.
Yep.
So this stock price is $2,000. You can buy a fraction. They actually just started it, I believe, this month or last month. This month. So they allow you buy fractional stock. That's wonderful. So for people who want to buy stocks, Apple or Facebook, whatever, you don't have all that money, you can buy fractional stocks. All right. Now, so you see the 1 day view. Now, of course, it's Saturday. The stock market is closed today. But let's change it over to 3 months view. So 3M. Boom. So you've seen that in 3 months, this stock has gone way up. Right? In past 3 months, this stock has grown 146%. What that means is that if you invested $10,000 in Tesla 3 months ago, at this time, you would be at $25,000. That's really what it means.
Wow.
Right? So 3 months ago, if you had invested just 3 months ago.
Yeah.
No, I don't think any multi-level marketing, again, not all stocks are going to be like that.
Yeah.
This was a unique opportunity because of what was going on. Now, look at 1 year. Amazing. 800%. If you add $10,000 1 year ago and you put it in Tesla, you're going to have $80,000 right now. Again, that's not typical of every investment season, but I'm just trying to show you how these things work. Now you can see how things have moved around and, the opportunities when it goes low and when it goes high, right? Now let's scroll down rather. So you see this Robinhood is very good because it kind of shows you, it gives you some basic information about the company. There's some news, so you can see exactly what this company is doing. You know who the CEO is. What's going on there. Can you click show more? Right next to about. No, go up where it says about. No, not there. The top one, right there. Yes, exactly. So another good thing that I try to look at, which I think everyone should start to get familiar with as you start to invest, is you see where it says 52-week high and 52-week low. It means that this stock is now $2,000. Sometimes in the past 1 year, in the past 52 weeks, this stock was $211.
Wow.
So if you had bought now, it's almost 10 times more.
Wow.
So if you were able to catch the stock at the time that it was low, there's no way to tell. There's no magic way to tell. But there are experienced ways for you to follow the market. I don't want anybody to think that with this class you can become an experienced day trader. No, that's not what I'm trying to do here, because it takes a lot more than coming to a class, right? But if you had the opportunity to buy this when it was $211, it meant that you could have made times 10 of your money, right? Great. So let's go back. Let's go back to the list of the other stocks. Great. So let's look at which one is a good one.
Oh, it looked down.
No worries. You can sign back in.
Yeah.
So as she's signing back in, I just wanted to show you other investments so you can see how things move and how stocks are behaving. And then we can go from stocks to go into ETFs, right? Great. We're back in here. So before we look at maybe other type of funds or ETFs, let's look at let's look at Netflix. All right.
While you're speaking, just give me 1 second. I'll be back, but just continue.
For sure. All right. So as you can see, Netflix is saying that, over the past day, which basically was yesterday, the stock went down $5, right? And you can see all the metrics. Once our host gets back, you can scroll down and also see how much the price has fluctuated in the past 15 weeks. So it gives you the highest point and it gives you the lowest point. So the 52-week high and the 52-week low. That way you can really tell how things are moving. That's not the only indicator. It's really just one of those things. You want to see price earning ratio, right? Price earning ratio is another thing that you want to look at. Evan reward risk. All right. So these are some of the things, right? So I think it starts opening you up to investment. There are a lot of other things that you can look at, which we're not going to be able to cover in this session, right? But now you start to understand, and again, that's why Robinhood and a lot of the other platforms will give you some exposure into how to understand and what to understand. But the key things, like I said, is understand the business. Understand the business. Like Netflix, for instance. Everyone who watch Netflix. Netflix is a subscription service. Every month people make payments, right? So the company will do well, right? The company, except a new company comes that completely displaces Netflix, like Netflix displaced is it Busters or whatever, the people who rent movies, right? And so except something like that happens, that this company is going to do well, right? Tesla is the future. Tesla is making solar panels. They're into electric cars. That's the future. Very soon, maybe in the next 10 to 15 years, there probably wouldn't be any gas stations around, right? It's hard to believe that, but most cars will be electric. Most cars will not even be hybrid anymore. So that Tesla is already in the future. Amazon, for instance, Amazon is going to be around for a long time. Amazon is to many businesses, and it's going to be very difficult for them to go. So understand the business, right? Don't just go in and this stock is doing well. Someone told me to go and invest in this company without really knowing what it is, or going in and saying that, oh, this stock is very cheap, I want to buy it. You can lose all your money. So understand, have a strategy, right? Now, Shishan, are you back? All right. I don't think she's back yet. But the other thing, so to buy a stock, before we go into other, so to buy a stock, so for instance, you see right here on the screen, there is the, to the right of the screen, it says buy Netflix or buy NFLX, right? So to buy this, you can invest in dollars or you can invest in numbers, right? So buy, exactly, so a number of shares. So you can decide how many ways. So dollar is maybe you have $200, that's what you want to invest. Or if you want to buy in numbers, you can say, okay, I want to buy 10 shares or 20 shares, right? So that's that. But before we actually buy another share, I want you to search for, at the top of the page, search for Vanguard. Just type Vanguard and it should bring out a lot of things. All right, great, stop there. Now, you see that Vanguard has a lot of funds. Remember I talked about ETFs, I talked about mutual funds. A lot of these are funds. Now, let's say you click into the VTI Total Stock Market Fund, ETF, the VTI. That's the second one. So remember when I said that, so let's look at the 3-month view of the ETF. You can notice that this has gone up, right? Yeah. So you see how, go down, you see where it says 52-week low is 109, and 52-week high is 172. Now, this should teach you something about ETFs. Remember that the Tesla stock was as low as 212, meaning that if you bought Tesla stock at $2,000, there's a potential for it to go way down to 212. But with the ETFs, it can go down, but it's a little more protected. It wouldn't go down so bad, like the fluctuations wouldn't be like, boom, it goes way down and it goes way up. So it's a little more secure type of investment. ETFs or mutual funds or bonds, those are a little more secure because the risk level is a little reduced than stocks, right? So those are some of the difference. Now, there's a difference between mutual funds and ETFs, but basically what they all do is they put together a number of investments. They try to model, the market like the S&P 500 and those type of things. I don't expect everyone to understand all these things right now today, but these are things that you need to start to look at, right? Maybe after this class, what I might be able to do, I'm not an investment coach or of course I teach, I talk about this, but I'm not and I'm not an investment advisor. So I don't want to advise you to go buy something and then maybe you loses money and then you're calling my phone and telling me why I made you lose money. But what I can do is after this class, maybe in the next 2 days, if you register. So if you didn't register, I believe the host might help open up the registration link. Go there, register, so we have your email address. We can send you a list of, I'll send you some materials, a list of stocks, a list of ETFs, you know, the characteristics and why you can invest in.
The audio is doing that thing again.
I'm sorry?
The audio is doing that thing again.
Oh, okay. No worries. I know what to do. I'll just leave.
We apologize, everyone. We'll be back in a second.
Is it back?
Very great information. Thank you, guys.
He is.
Is it back? Awesome, awesome. Great. So now that you're, can you hear me properly?
Yes.
All right. So now that you know how to buy, once you get those materials, you'll be able to think through them, read through them, and then come here to invest. All right. Great. So that's the difference between an ETF and a stock. Now, there are many, many stocks in many, many, many industries, right? There's stocks in solar. There's stocks in. Can you go in and look at VSync Solar is one of the stocks that I have. I don't know what the ticker is, but VIZ. I'm trying to get the ticker. Let me get the ticker real quick. Type V Solar. V and then Solar. You can. Yeah, Vivint Solar. Yeah, that's it. So so this is one of the stocks that I have because I know, of course, solar is in the future. It's $26, but look at the 52-week low of this thing. Right? So at some point, this was 373. So now, you see how stocks are starting to work. If you had a lot of money, you could have bought the Tesla stock at 215 or 212 and made 2,000. Also, you could have bought this at 3 and it goes to 50. That's times 8. So it depends on the scale. So scale also matters in investment, right? This was $3 and it went all the way to 25,000. So if I put 10,000 in this and I put 10,000 in Tesla, I'll have made the same amount of money because both stocks have gone up almost 8 times in 52 weeks, right? So you don't have to always only buy expensive stocks like the Apples or things like that, which was one of the questions that came earlier. You can also invest in smaller companies, but of course, there's more risk depending on the business, depending on the market, whatever. So this is also a good example of a company that you can invest in. Right now, they're very close. They're almost at the highest, so you're buying at the highest price, but there's potential. It's a solar company. And I don't know, but I think Elon Musk of Tesla might be invested in this company. I don't know, but I think so. All right. So so those are some of the things that you can look at, right? Think about the businesses of the future, right? Technology, renewable energy, healthcare, those things, companies that are heavily invested in vaccines and things like that. So those are the type of things. So I will stop here. I will buy a stock and then we can start taking questions. All right. So so if you want to go in, so what stock do you want to buy?
Let's do Vivint, the V Solar. Let's start with V Solar.
Okay, you want to do solar. All right, great. So before you do solar, this is the 1-day view. Why not look at the 5-year view?
Okay.
It's important for me to show you this. Now you see that 5 years ago, if you move your mouse around all the way to the left, keep going. 5 years ago, this stock was actually at $12. So if you invested 5 years ago, you'll be at $24, meaning that you've doubled your investment. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
But if it depends on when you entered into the trade. So if you had entered, go all the way to like March of 2020, all the way, keep going. March specifically of 2020, right there before that. So stocks went down a lot in March. No, March like 25th. Go a little forward. No, 27th, yeah. Around 25th and 27th, everything crashed, right? So this stock was at $4 at that time, right? 25th, I believe that was when it was at like $3 that we talked about. So it depends on when you enter into the trade. That's another thing, right? And so depending on your strategy, depending on what you want to do, some people would invest in a stock and they make the same stock, they make more money than you, depending on when they entered into it. So if you want to buy a stock right now, you're buying it at $27. For you to really make profit, that stock has to go up to $30. And that might not happen this year, might happen next month. It just really depends, right? There are ways that I personally also try to invest. There's a site that's called Bar Chart. Bar Chart tells you, barchart.com, it tells you stocks that are high performers and low performers. So you can see stocks that are at lowest prices. It's risky to invest in them, but if you know that this is a good business, this stock will definitely go up. I want to invest in it. Actually, let's go back. So go to a new tab real quick before we buy something. Go to a new tab and type in barchart.com. Great. So with barchart.com, it's a great place. This is one of those other places where you can learn. Go to that stock, the stock tab to the left, pick it, and then it should bring up a drop down, also a list of menu. Okay, you want to over it again? What's going on? Oh, it's still loading. All right, exactly. So when you over it and go down to top 100 stocks. So top 100 stocks will tell you the stocks that did so well today. And bottom 100 stocks will tell you the stocks that did so bad today. Of course, this is the information. This information is probably the information from Friday. So you see it says top and bottom. So with this, with the top, let it load. All right. So with the top, you can see that these companies, now a lot of you might not even know a lot of other companies. Tesla, there's Overstock. A lot of you buy stuff from Overstock, Nikola, Trillium, Fiverr. That's where people design stuff. So exactly, it's more like a price list. That's awesome. So more like a price list, but it shows you a little more information. So look at Kirk, K-I-R-K. You see that to the left, if you go to the right a little bit, you see the 52-week high and 52-week low. Yeah. At some point, this share was $0.5 or 50 cents. Now it's $13, right? Now you can see that the current price is $12, meaning that this share right now is at $12, but it once got to 13.58. So you can say, okay, let me just buy it because I know about this business. If I put in $12 right now, it has a potential to at least go back to 13.58. Yeah. All right. So that's how to start to look at it. To look at that third one, the Purple Innovation Inc. I wouldn't just advise you to go buy off of this. It's a good strategy, but make sure you know about the business. No, so Purple, the PRPLW was once 18 cents. It's gone up to 8.11. But it's currently, so you see where it says last. Last means the most recent price. The last price is $4.94. So meaning that if you buy that, it has a potential to go back to 8.11 or even higher. It also has a potential to go back to 0.18, right? So it's just the level of risk that you're willing to take and how comfortable you are. We already talked about Tesla, which is the next one. Overstock is another one. Right, so these are ways for you to look at, the stocks that you're buying, right? So let's go back to Robinhood. So make sure you write that down if you want to. Again, I wouldn't advise you to be a day trader or someone who is constantly investing. Oh, now I know how to do it. I want to be buying. You might lose a lot of money. So be conservative, be careful, be patient, understand, study, go do all these things before you start putting all your money in. Right. So if you want to buy Vivint Solar right now, you can buy. What was the 52-week high again? So let's see what the potential for this is.
$27.
Also, it's $27 and it's at 26 right now. So, it's like I said, everything is back up right now. Stocks are very high. 3 months ago, they were very low. So we can say we want to buy one stock of this, for instance. So type in the amount, you just type in, actually choose number of shares. And then you just type in 1.
Okay.
And then you click review order. So it shows you your buying power down there. So before you buy, it'll show you the amount that you have available. So click buy. So your order is pending. It's going to execute on it'll be executed on Monday because the stock market is closed right now. So the stock market runs from Monday to Friday. So it'll be executed at market open on Monday. All right. So that's that. Now click done. Now let's try to go buy a Tesla, for instance. So type in TSLA at the top there. Right. So now you see that your buying power is reduced to $72.
Yeah.
You still have $100 in this account.
Yeah.
It just means that 26.30 of that is already in some other investment, right? So let's do. So I don't know if we want to buy this right now, but it's the same one. But with this one, so we did shares the first time. Let's do dollars. So let's say invest in dollar. So change the shares to dollars. So this is you specifying the exact amount you want to invest. So let's type in $40, for instance. So to tell you the amount of shares you're buying. So you're buying 0.2 approximately, 0.02 rather of Tesla stock. Because of course it's $2,000 to buy one of that. You need $2,000, but you can buy a fraction. They tell you to review or other, and then you can click buy. Now, so let's go back to portfolio. So click portfolio at the top right. This is where it will show you the stocks that you have. So now that we already bought stocks, so you see at the top of the list is VSLR, right? You have 0 stocks right now. But you know, by Monday you have 1. That's where they show you all your stocks, right? They show you all the stocks that you have, and then below you show you your watch list. So you can click into that. Right now you don't have anyone, but you can click into that if you want to sell it. So let's say that you know you bought the stock at $2, it's now $20. You can sell it, right? So the good thing with Robinhood is you need to research this. We're not going to be able to cover this because we're almost at time. Robinhood also has. I'm sorry.
I said you said we're almost out of time. I was like, yes, we're waiting.
So Robinhood has like you know, you can do like normal savings with it. You can do retirement you know, accounts with it. So you can do all that. So that'll be the end of that. Acorns. Someone is asking about Acorns. It's spelled ACORN. You can download the app on your phone. And basically what it does is it takes spare change from your transaction. So if you buy $2, but that's really for like, you know, starter investors. So if you buy something for $2.50, it rounds it up to $3 and then invest that 50 cents. But that's really for like beginner investors. What you can also do is within Acorns, you can actually deposit large sums of money and invest in a lot of things. You can also have like a weekly deposit. It's very good. So you can say, okay, automatically take $40 from my account every week and invest it in ETFs. You basically invest mostly in ETFs, which, like I've told you, is a safer, less risky type of investment. All right. So this will round up our demo. I hope that people have been able to learn 1 or 2 things from this. If need be, maybe we do a second session when people feel a little more comfortable. If you have questions, we can you know, set up some time in the future to help answer any questions. So in the few minutes that we have, I can someone is asking, I can answer a question. So someone is asking about stop lossing and creating a buy order. So again, that's a different type of investment strategy. You know, with buying, sometimes you can actually choose. Robinhood gives you the option to say that I want to buy this stock at a lowest price. I want to sell this stock at this price. Now, usually that's a little more for complicated investors. New investors or beginner investors can also do that. So usually within a day, the price of a stock will fluctuate. It fluctuates by the second. So let's say that the fluctuation point of the price is like between $20 and $30, for instance. You can say, I want to buy this stock, but I don't want to buy immediately. Robinhood gives you the option to do that. Other platform also gives you the option to do that. You can say, I want to buy this stock, but I want to buy it if it falls to $25 or $22, something like that. Or if you want to sell something also, you can dictate to say, I want to sell this when it goes to this price. So those are like, you can stop your losses. So it's there are other ways also in like maybe like forex trading or even other type of investment alternative. You can set those type of things. It's a little more complicated, which we might need to talk more about it. But in simple terms, it's really being able to set a price where you want to buy or sell or exit the transaction. All right. Are there any questions? Let me go into the chat to see if there are any questions. All right. Thank you so much. Amazing. All right. I don't see.
I think we can take maybe like one or so more. I know we see a ton of questions here, so I wonder if we need to have like a second session or something, because guys, we literally have been going for 2 hours by 2 p.m. And I know Dayo has engagements. I also have to hop on another program where I'm moderating for Power Women. So, but this looks like this was very necessary. I see. Woo, I feel like if we take all these questions, we're going to be here for another at least half an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just one question. There's a question of what's actually the cost of transaction. Yes. Of course, Robinhood is free, so you're not paying for trades. Some platforms you have to actually pay for every trade. When you buy or sell, you have to pay. It depends on the investment or maybe changes or the type of account, retirement account you have to pay for. Robinhood is free, of course, but of course there are other costs associated with your investment. Opportunity cost, there's loss, there's risk, and all that stuff. But in terms of actual cost, the transactions, buying and selling on Robinhood is free. Now, I think for Acorns, you have to pay a monthly fee of about $1 a month, depending on the amount of your transaction. And then at a particular point, they start to charge you, I think 0.001 of the value of your account. So that's that.
All right, awesome. So guys, we may do, I don't know, we'll talk, Diane and I will talk and see what we need to do to see if we can bring back, I don't know, a follow-up session, maybe like a shorter session to maybe answer questions. I feel like a lot of the questions are very valid. I see questions from Brother Otis. I see questions from Lovette, from Edith, from Brakunle Adewi. I see questions from everybody. And again, because we have to run, we've been at this for 2 hours, and I know everybody else has to move on this afternoon. But I want to hope that everybody has had an amazing time, wealth of knowledge. I'm the host, and when I tell you to do stuff, I'm not joking. These are my notes. I have my notes here from today. So I would never ask you to do something that I would never do or that I don't think is valuable to you. I've been getting a lot of messages from you guys, separate messages on phone saying how valuable this is, awesome. Got lots of 5-star ratings for you. You are great at what you're doing. And so I want to say thank you guys for joining. I have to round up here, but we will probably come back again, more likely next week. We'll talk. And then if you're registered, you will get an email on the follow-up to this so that we can handle these questions. If you're not registered, I want to encourage you to register. I'm gonna turn on the registration link one more time for maybe about half an hour and then close it so that you can register. And then that way we have your email. And then Dayo has additional information that he wants to share with you guys so that we will send it. I know some people just joined because I posted the link on social media. So if you're not registered, please register so that you can get this information. It makes no sense for you to join and not for you to have everything through and through. So I will go ahead and type that in here, and then I will go on my phone, and then I will open it up.
As you're speaking, and I want to say, if people can hear me, this program has been a blessing to you. If it's your first time or your second time or your third time, everything you're learning here, no one has charged you. My encouragement to you is in this season, please, by all means, be a blessing to someone else, be a blessing to your community, your environment, whatever. Find someone to be a blessing to, right?
I totally agree. I'm with you on that one. Yes, please pay forward, basically. Pay this forward. Pay this forward. And thank you guys for everyone who has stuck with me with Seun on Demand since we started this, a few months back. Make sure you are following me on Instagram. I am Seun on, sorry, my Instagram page is Seun on Demand. On YouTube, also Seun on Demand as well. The past meetings or lessons are also on my YouTube page, so you can watch the one from last week, which was also a killer. It was awesome. Also follow Dio on Instagram as well. Next Level Mentality. He constantly drops nuggets in there, so I want to encourage you guys, please join. So we will definitely have a second session, and I think when we have the second session, you guys, we've given you a lot of homework to do. You have about 4 different things or so that we've asked you guys to do. I think it can be more of a practical, we can make that more of a practical session where we want to see some of the things that you have done and hear some of the changes that you have started to make. That would make any sense. Again, I'm one of those people who believes that, as I'm going up, I'm climbing up, I want to make sure I stretch my hand back and help those who are behind me or around me also come back up, which means I share a lot of information that I feel that is valuable to you. So that's what this platform is all about. So thank you guys so much. Dio Next Level Mentality. You are a genius. You are the best at what you're doing. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining. Make sure you share the word, share this news with every one of your friends so that when we come back for another session, that's going to be more practical for you. You guys will, your friends can also join as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a wonderful day. God bless you, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you. So Dalton, do follow him on Instagram. Instagram is where it is. Follow him on Instagram. Next level. And follow Seun also at Seun on Demand. On Instagram, YouTube, follow. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get notifications every time we go live or have new content. Thank you, guys.